Hi everyone, good evening and welcome once again for one more exciting session of our panel discussion. And as always, we'll be discussing about the topic which we have learned, heard, and understood from this week PM session. And again, this I may have to tell you every time, but to be very honest, last week's session was amazing. It has opened up a thought process in a various direction. So we'll talk about more, but before that, before we start doing that, let me introduce our guest. Mohit, who has been part of our panel discussion from last few weeks. So Mohit, if you would like to start with your introduction first.
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. So, I am Mohit Chaudhary from Kolkata. Basically, I am a chartered accountant with an experience of around 3 years in corporate and in the field of direct tax. I have been a part of PIM session from last few weeks, and also I have been a part of the book club that runs under the banner of PIM session from around 6 to 7 months. So, over to you, Kunal.
That's great, Mohit. And what we'll do, guys, and before I start, a quick introduction. So, as you all know, that I myself, Kunal Jaiswal, I've been associated with PIM from last 4+ year, and other than that, I am a working professional. I am a software engineer working in IT from last 12+ year in Bangalore itself. So that's the quick background about me. So what we'll do this time, guys, we'll have a little shift. Now this time, I will hand over this, session to be driven by Mohit instead of me driving this session, because that will give you a different flavor. All of our audience are different flavors. So Mohit, how about you drive this session today?
Thanks, Kunal. Thanks for this opportunity. So, starting the panel discussion with the last on the topic covered by the Vijay in the last PIM session. So as you all know that Vijay from the last few weeks is covering the topic from the on his covering his session on the topic leadership traits, where he is discussing about the wheel of life. Last week he talked about relationship. Before that he talked about the finance, career, and different aspects of the wheel of life. So this week is no exception. And in this week, Vijay has talked about one of the most important things, is the growth aspect. And then the way he has defined the growth aspect and the way he has explained the meaning of growth with various examples has totally changed my mind. Yeah, it's like the difference between growth and goal obviously will come to the difference part is the later part of this panel discussion. But before that, I want to ask you, Kunal, what was your impression? What is your meaning view on growth before joining this PIM session?
Absolutely. I guess majority of people who are, watching this panel discussion, either live or recorded one, will agree with me that I, before connecting to PM, never thought about growth. And especially when I say growth, the holistic growth which we talk about, growing in every aspect of life. The maximum growth which I have thought about when I was studying, that the growth in my, educational, that was also, I was not pretty good. Again, I was somebody who was not very intentional about my educational growth as well. Of course, I was average in studies and I, never flunked on anything, but I was not very focused that, okay, I have to grow in this area, right? And maybe when we will discussing more about the growth aspect later point of time, you'll be able to relate that many a time we are confused, even some of us who thinks that we are focused, we are having a focus on the growth, or we are a growth oriented person, whether in your education, in your professional life, or any aspect of life. Trust me, after you understand what we have learned from last week of PM session about the growth, you yourself will realize and agree with us that you had a half understanding about what growth actually means. Just simply doing something does not mean growth, guys. Intentional growth is complete different aspect. So Mohit, since you asked me what was my definition, first of all, my definition was very simple, that whatever coming is my way, I have to finish it. Education came my way, I have to complete it. Then I have to, as always the society expects, that once your educations are done, you have to get into the job. I get into the job, and whatever job was offered to me, I have given my best. And that's how the growth understanding has been in my life before I connected to the PIM. But how about you? Because I know you have been a good student, and then you still study and you focus on your professional growth. And also, what was your understanding about the growth?
Yeah, I just after joining this session, I recalled the one joke that my teacher used to say that once you finish the class 10, life will be easier. That class 10 is the barrier. But after that, when I came to class 11 or when I was in the class 12 final, again my teacher repeated the same thing. So once your school is over, the college life is chilled. You will be enjoying the college life, your career. Just complete your class 12 with the distinction marks. And once you get into the good college, your life is over. So you don't need to do anything. And when I got into the college, my teacher used I saw the level of competition. It went up, and after passing the college, then when I entered my career in the professional field, I saw that yeah, as I'm walking or as I'm climbing the ladder, I am finding that the competition getting tougher and tougher because I'm getting the comfort zone from one like from the school to college, college to chartered accountancy course, from articleship to professional life. So I found that the yeah life I have to always run in the life. I cannot stop, and that's the meaning I think that growth is. You have to thrive regularly, or importantly, there is no time for rest or no time for peace. And once we stop, like after joining my current job, I came to a comfort zone where we were a team of good friends, we're happily enjoying the things, working together, living together, and everything we are doing together. So I got a sense of comfort zone, and I thought that yeah, this is the perfect place to settle because what you all need: a perfect team, perfect manager, and perfect work, and a handsome salary. So it's a complete job, and I don't need thinking. But now I realize that no, nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. So as the team left, the people left due to their personal reasons. So I also need to move on because yeah, I cannot trust them. And then I realized that yeah, what mistake I have done. I have wasted 3 years just to enjoying my comfort zone and not focusing on my growth. So yeah, because I because the if you ask me before joining PM session, my growth is just as you said, just achieving your target. Once the target that you confronted with, you have achieved it. Just relax, you have completed your growth. But Kunal has rightly said, Vijay has rightly said that there is difference between goal and growth. What we were thinking is a growth or goal, and not the growth.
Correct.
So if like we always used to say that journey is more beautiful than the destination. Same way, growth is more useful or more important than the goal. The goal should be your growth and not the goal should be your actual goal. Although destination is important, but growth should be there. So have you ever recalled or have you confronted with the differences between goal and with growth before joining the BIMSSN or before hearing these things? Means how do
Right.
you deal with it?
Yes, yes, very good point, Mohit. But before I come to this, I just wanted to take a few more things from what you have just mentioned about. I guess first of all, when you talked about that, we all have heard that once you clear your 10th and then 12th, then college. I guess this every North Indian people will relate it. We all have heard this in our childhood, and as you rightly mentioned, that moment the life goes, forward, the responsibility increase, and with that the challenges also increase. So that's one thing very true for all the North Indian people. The second thing you mentioned about that, what you were considering as a growth for yourself, that you have cleared 10th, then 12th, then career, then you got in a good job, then you got in a stuck in a comfort zone, having a handsome salary and everything. See, that's exactly where lies the problem of a confusion between growth and goal. That's exactly, and that's where majority of us, I myself, I mean, I was not somebody who was at least looking for a goal. I mean, Vijay very nicely mentioned that in our society there are very few at least who make goal. I mean, it is good than somebody who don't even make goal, like me. I didn't had any goal. You were at least ahead of me because you were having some goal in life. But then if you have, I mean, as we said, success is good to have, but significance is what, when you aspire for significance, you take your life to a next level where you just not impact yourself, your family, but you impact the society. That's exactly what happened when you take your eyes from goal to growth. Like you yourself mentioned, where your focus was on the goal, the moment you achieve it, there was a plateau in life. There was a, there was nothing to do forward. I mean, you get adjusted with your comfort zone. The very simple reason, because the goal was met. You were making good salary, you were having a good manager, you were having a good job, good knowledge also along with that. And that's where you got stuck. The very simple reason, because the goal was achieved. And that's exactly the problem with the goal. Now, again, I must mention that it is good to have a goal, but it is not good to get stuck with that goal, because that brings the plateau. And the moment you get stuck in with the plateau and you stop your growth, and as we say, I mean, as long as the water is flowing, the water will be pure. The moment water gets stuck, there will be a lot of dirt, smell, and all that thing. And that's exactly what happened with the human life. As long as we are growing, as long as we are aspiring new things in our life, there will be happiness, there will be excitement in life. The moment we get stuck, the moment we get into a comfort zone, there will be inner sadness, there will be inner, dissatisfaction, that where are we in a right place or not. And that's exactly what happened when you get stuck between the goal and the growth. But apart from this, there Vijay very nicely talked about some of the problems also. Like, see, we all are human beings, we all get stuck, you all get challenged with the problem, some of the problem which people from outside creates, and some of the problem our own created, right? He talked about the laziness, he talked about the procrastination, right? Now, I personally have never thought about laziness and procrastination like that, right? As you talked about the goal and growth, how was your experience about those things? I mean, of course you were having goals in life, but how were you, your understanding about the laziness, how you were dealing with those laziness, how you were dealing with the procrastination?
Like I said, when I joined the company, I was getting comfort zone. So every time I come home from my job, I used to spend my time watching series in Netflix or Amazon Prime, and this way I got stuck up or started my journey in the new company. And slowly and slowly, I found myself very tired with all these things, like when the new series came up, or the when new movies, or planning a new trip, or doing something unusual thing, not relating to my career or not relating to my goal, because the goal were not existent in existence. Secondly, I would never thought of reading something new or updating myself, because I thought that I have achieved nirvana. And that's the point I think my laziness started. And
Mm,
as you recall that when I joined the book club, it took me around 6 months to join the book club. From the point day one, you started convincing me to join something good. So that is a perfect example I can give you of the procrastination that I thought that I will,
yeah.
okay, I will join it this week or 1 week next week, and then it comes the next week, I have some other issues, so I will join in the next week. And slowly, slowly, I found that by continuing 1 week to second week, I lost 6 months, or
Mm.
rather say I had 20 weeks or 20 sessions I missed. So
It's a wonderful point, Mohit. I mean, sorry to interrupt you, but one interesting thing for our audience, because this is what you have mentioned. That's the reality of majority of us. How did you come out of this problem? Because you have done it. You have, came out of this procrastination
yeah,
thought process very
but
nicely.
when I encountered that I have a problem in my communication skills and I really need to fix it, because I need if I need to grow in my life. And then I realized, and when I encountered the outer world, or when I met with my peers who have excellent communication skills, excellent English fluency, and there I found that although we have started on the same line, but yeah, my peers have went way ahead for me because of maybe of the various reasons. So what is the thing that they are doing? What I'm not doing, or I'm not getting the opportunity of it? And if
Mm,
I'm not getting the opportunity of it, then I should try to grab it alternatively, uh, somehow or anyhow, so that not now, but in next few months or next in few years, I could match up their space and can learn from them, or can get the same qualities as they have. And
mm,
there I realized that what's the importance of communication skills, and I stopped procrastinating. I joined the class, although it took me various
mm,
efforts. But yeah, when I joined it, I also tried to become regular in it, because we have
mm.
to give some time and we expect the results in a few weeks or few months. Then it's not going to happen. It's a continuous process, just like a growth. Improvement is a continuous process. And that's the point when I got the push. Like I remember in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad also, the Rich Dad explain the importance of emotion. It's an energy in motion,
Yeah,
and that energy when you get the push. And I got the push when I felt inferior in, like, when I comparing to my peers, and that push I can channelize toward my energy to learning something new, or to develop my personal skills, so that I can match up with them.
that's
So that
wonderful.
So if I taking forward this panel discussion, I remember one thing that Kunal has that Vijay has very beautifully covered, that once you uh, accept your goal, or once you recognize your goal, you should cut threads from all other opportunities that are knocking your door. And I just thought that he is explaining my life. Means, like, as you are know that I am in a profile of tax and I like it. Really, I like it. But when I'm searching for the job, I found that I got the opportunities from different fields, not relating to tax or not relating to my profile, but yeah, with a handsome salary, I'm getting the job. And I have said no to it. But because although I'm getting the job, I was not happy with accepting it. And I found that since I was not happy, so I will not be able to grow in this line. So I
Mm.
said no to it. And when the Vijay said these things, I realized that yeah, I have done something right, not the wrong thing. Because there was something guilt in myself because I have said no to the opportunities that are knocking my door. Secondly, the Vijay had also included one more important point is invest in yourself.
Right.
If at least 10% of the amount of your earnings should be invested in yourself, that will multiply your earnings. And I think most of us don't know how to invest in yourself. Rather, they try to invest in purchasing materialistic things. So,
Right.
uh, Kunal, next I want to ask you, when you like, we have a various calls or discussions. You said that you also like to learn or update yourself. So, what you decide when you try to learn new things? So, what is your parameter that you set? So, learning is a continuous process. So, what are the factors that you consider for learning new courses or new things? And how will you decide that whether it will aligning with your goal or not aligning with your goal? Because as Kunal said that if you work work harder, but that work harder is not aligning to your goal, you will not achieve the results. So,
Correct.
how you decide to whether to opt for it or not to opt for it?
Yes. Very important question, in fact, and getting a clarity of this only will assure that whatever investment you are doing on your personal growth in terms of money, time, whether it's worth it not. And like you, Mohit, my journey was no difference. In fact, I'll start with since you're talking about how I decide those parameter about the, going for any growth journey or planning for any next level of an upgradation and all. I will start with the PIM because when I got connected with PIM, that was also a step which I have taken for my personal growth. Now, to be very honest, like you mentioned, when you looked outward, you find a lot of people around you who are way ahead in terms of communication and all that. That's exactly was my story. I come from a North India. I've studied in city called Jaipur, and then though I mean the things were there in the English and all, but it was majority Hindi. When I came here in Bangalore, it was a huge competition in terms of communication skills, and I have to be very honest that my communication skills was very bad. And honestly, till then, for me, the communication skill was all about that if I can speak English and understand English, that was my understanding about communication skills, which of course is broadened enough right now. But then at that point of time, that much only I wanted to know about. And when I got connected with the PM, there was a guy at that point of time. I was 7 years of my career. Let me take you back in my starting journey of PM. So I was 7 or 8 years in the corporate at that point of time when I got connected with PM. And then there was a one guy who was just 1 year and in the corporate, just college pass out and 1 year. So he was quite a junior guy. But then from the starting, he was connected with Vijay and this association from the starting of his career. I mean, when he got out from the college, and the difference which I saw between me and him connected with me with the PM, it bring the belief to me that yes, this is the platform, this is the association which I want to connect with. So when you ask about the parameter, that which parameter I have decided first, like in anything, you want credibility. You want to make sure that wherever you are connecting, this place can do good for you. This association can do good for you. So that first I got that credibility because I got connected with this association for some time. So that's the first thing. Second thing, see, no matter which domain any one of us are part of, there are few areas where we all need to be good at. Communication, no matter which domain we are, we have to good at it. People skills, again, it doesn't matter which domain we are in, we have to good at it. Then it's I mean, selling is also one such area. And why I'm saying so, because when I'm taking my resume, going in for an interview, what matter is my communication skills and how I sell my skills. So I'm bringing selling from that perspective. So that is another skills where you talk about that, okay, I have certain knowledges, but if I cannot showcase this knowledge to somebody, this knowledge will not make any difference until unless I get an opportunity to display it. So I should be having a way where I can communicate also about my knowledge. So that was the selling skills I wanted to learn, that how to present myself. That's the third thing. And then the fourth thing, of course, about my career or the professionalism. So what I found, of course, because I belong to technical domain, so for me, growing in technical domain, I need to go for a different coaching and institute. But apart from that, the professional growth, the remaining all, the communication, the relationship, people skills, selling, and then interpersonal skills or relationship skills you talk about. All this I was getting in the form of a package through this Peak Impact Mentorship. Why? Because it was not just a theoretical platform where Vijay comes every week and teaches you. Since you have been part of PM, you know how we conduct it. This panel discussion is also one such platform where we, develop our next level of communication skills. There is a book club, there is a one-on-one session, there is a personal coaching and mentorship. Then there are various paid sessions which Vijay does. And as you again mentioned, that very few of us believe in investing on ourselves. And this clarity I got when Vijay said to me that you invest in a good phone because you find it is worth, and you don't invest on yourself because you don't find yourself worth. And I was like, no, I am worthful. I am okay to invest on myself. And as you said, that there is a, we all should invest. Just imagine for a moment, all the audience, I would like to you imagine for a moment that wherever you are standing today, no matter how many years of an experience you have, just think from today onwards, you started investing some 5 to 10% of your earning in your growth. Now that growth you decide. First of all, of course, there are certain things which you need to focus on to understand where to grow, because you cannot put all your energy in all the different direction, because that will not help you. So decide which area you want to grow: your communication, people skills, leadership skills, your professional skills, your technical skills. But once you have decided, think about every year you are investing in terms of money and time, where you will be after 5 years. No matter how big the competition is there in the market, you will be way ahead from each one of us. What do you think, Mohit, on this point? What is your thought process, especially about this investment? And when we talk about investment, it is not just money, guys. See, money, many of us can invest. That's not a problem. The problem comes when you have to commit yourself for the time investment. Like today, when me and Mohit Sunday evening sitting over here and discussing things out, this is a time investment. So being prepared for money and time investments, what's your take on that, Mohit?
Mm, Last week, I think we have also discussed on this point also. Since investment does not mean investment in money only. Investment means time, effort, money, everything to make yourself your better person or better half, or make yourself your better version in next days or in future. Like as you said, when the water is flowing, it is pure. But when the water is stuck, it gets dirty or malified. Similarly, when you invest yourself or when you grow continuously, you will find that you are learning new things, you are acquiring new skills for making your existing skills sharper. But when you stop investing yourself, when you stop growing, your growth in terms of everything stops or puts at rest. The same thing has also been explained in various books, like I think The Magic of Thinking Big, where the author says that we expect our employer to increase our salary, but we are not doing ourselves anything extra to impress the employer that we are capable of doing things new. And that part of capability will come only when we can gain new skills or have good knowledge or update yourself. And if the employer has confidence on yourself, then surely they will increase the salary before telling yourself you. So that I got the concept of investing in myself from the book, essentially The Magic of Thinking Big, and also the PIM session. The Vijay has enhanced this knowledge and this connected me and reminded me of the learnings that I learned from this learning this book. And yeah, I think that if you invest in yourself, the money will multiply. You will not have to run for the job. The people will come to you to hire you. That's the other way around, and that's the power of investing in yourself in life.
That's very true.
Coming to the other part of the panel discussion, or the last part of the panel discussion, Vijay has given the factors steps to follow to achieve growth,
Right,
like
right.
following the roadmap, having a community of people. So focusing on the community of the people, The Vijay has given a very nice example of the birds. The birds fly in fish shape. They can travel 2.5 times more than they fly one-to-one basis. Similarly, when I got the community of people like in book clubs where they always everyone speaks about never quit, positive thought, positivity, and everything else. So it create a mindset of how to deal with the failures or how to energize your thinking and how to channelize your thinking. And yeah, the community is very important because once I get depressed or once I get feel that I will not be able to do it, there's someone to hold my hand and to put you up that yeah, you can do it. So external factors are there. So since the community is the last part of the panel discussion, so what is your take on this aspect and how do you want to conclude the discussion or the learnings that you get from the PIM session?
Right. So these 2 points which you just mentioned, Mohit, that first of all, finding out and finalizing that which area you want to grow, and then having a mastermind alliance. Again, coming from the book Think and Grow Rich, and that's what exactly Vijay was mentioning. Having a group of a people, an association which can inspire you for a growth. And you have taken a wonderful example of a bird, and I'll take another example which most of us may have come across in our in our lifespan. Think about when in your college days, on your school days, or maybe when you're in your start of your career. Let's say you are staying with few of your friends, okay, and there are 4 to 5 people. Out of 4 to 5, apart from you, the remaining 4 people got excited about building their muscles, joining the gym, and they start being consistent up to it. Now think about, even if you are not somebody who like to build your muscle and all, but what are the chances that after a few days or few weeks or few months you will also end up and start going to the gym? Chances are very high. What created a difference? That at one point you were not somebody who wanted to build the muscles, but just because you were an association where the remaining of the people were focused on that one particular growth area of life, you get influenced and inspired. So trust me, guys, one is a very small number to create any big difference. We ourselves don't have 100% control of our mind. We all know that the science has proven that we only utilize the few percentage, like it's 3 or some percentage of our brain. So we cannot do everything by ourselves. It is that bigger association which drive us. Like for me also, when I got connected with the book club, the PIM session, and this bigger platform, it gave me a purpose and cause to keep on working on my personal growth. Otherwise, if I will enjoy, I mean, let's say you assume on the other hand, you yourself only joined the gym, but every day morning you have to fight that battle to wake up early and go to the gym and do the exercise. Chances are high after a few months people end up going to gym. As you see, we all, I mean, there are majority of people who enroll at the January 1st to the gym, but by the time February starting comes, the 50% public is already out of the gym because there was no company, there was no association who can pull them back. So that's the first thing, that the association is big time, which matters when you decide your growth area. Another concept I wanted to add in this, see, one thing is you are a part of that community. That's a one way of growing. Another way is a next level, I should say, that when you create that community. For example, for me, when it came that I should drive this book club, now think for a moment. This week, I'm not feeling to do any book club, or I'm not excited about book club. If I'm just part of a book club, it is very easy for me to skip that week, right or not? I can give any genuine reason, any excuse also, and I can skip that book club. But when I run that book club, when I have to inspire people, when I have to bring the entire platform together, what are the chances that I'll skip it with the layman excuses? Very, very, very less. So when you own something, when the ownership comes to you, the chances are high that you will be more intentional about your growth. The another benefit of it is that, let's say when I'm reading a book and when I'm talking, there's only twice when I'm learning about that experience and when I'm getting that knowledge. But when there are 5, 6 people in the book club and I'm having one-on-one talk like I have with you, Mohit, similar to that, I have one-on-one talk with few other people. The same learning getting reminded to me multiple times. So having all these things had multiple benefits, and that's where we encourage people to create an influencer group around you also. because it is not about just you add value to them. See, first good thing happens with that process is that you add value to them, but it reciprocate and it add multiple. Like if your group has 10 people, so you get 10 times of knowledge back. It may be a same knowledge, but that's exactly what happens when the situation comes. You're able to apply knowledge. Why? Because that has been reminded to yourself 10 times. Like a lot of people come to me and ask that, okay, I'm reading this book, but when the time comes, I'm not able to apply that learning. The simple reason, if you have read once or twice maximum, how will you remember when the situation comes? When the situation comes, your natural insight will come out and you'll respond as always. But when the same thing get reminded you multiple times through multiple people because you're discussing all that thing, chances are high that when the situation will come, you'll be able to apply that learning and come out of that successfully. So that's another aspect I wanted to add, Mohit, that when it comes to a growth, yes, association matters. It is very important that you decide your area of growth first, then have an association part of it. But if you want to take it to the next level, create an influencer community around you also, because that gives you a bigger cause to grow. That creates a bigger pull for you to grow. Do you relate with that thought process?
Yeah, Kunal. And I think the voice is getting echoed. Okay, fine. Uh, yeah, I think I have can relate these things because when I am trying to get an opinion or the motivating factor, the factors are the people who are way ahead of me and who have started with me in after passing the college or after clearing the education or CA. So they are one of the motivating factors, and since they are my friends and they are way ahead for me, and I compare myself with them, not in terms of the pay, but in terms of their knowledge, their communication skills, or their personality, or their way of handling the problems.
Mm,
Secondly, when I face a problem, I can generally take an opinion not from one people, but from two to three different people. And I found that when I take a people from some of my closest, nearest friends who don't have so much of experience and who are thinking bad, they just a life of bed of roses. So they give just the opinion on the basis of their logics and on the basis of their interpretation of the problems, which
mm,
may not be true. Or they also accept it since they have not experienced it, they have no knowledge of how to deal with this sort of problems. But when I ask the same questions with my friends who are living in way and in other cities are having experience of it, they give me the legitimate answers with all proper thinking and after history analysis. So what could be done, what are the possible alternatives, and what are the pros and cons of each of the alternatives. And there I found it how their views of handling the situations are. They have holistic view of different approaches, and that has come just from the experiences. And
yes,
there I found the what is the importance of the community. If I will live with them or if I'm in touch with them, then my knowledge, thought process will develop like that way. How to handle the problems, how to gain confidence. And if I live with the people who just think that life is just a bed of roses and who don't have any goal or motive in the life, then I will be left way behind in terms of growth or in terms of achieving my goal. So community is very much important. And what is more important is the community of like-minded people who are striving for something new or something positive. And there must be positive people because, like if you say, like in PG or in flats when you were living with your friends, there will be a couple of friends who are positive people, or there will be a couple of people who are negative-minded, who think that whatever you will do, you will fail. And other group of people, no, I can do it, I will do it. So seeing that both group of people, I find that yeah, the people who have the positive mindset have grown and they've cleared all their levels or achieved their goals or achieving their goals. But the people who are in the negative mindset, they are simply wasted their time and wasted their money only. So I found that yeah, it's important to have a like-minded people because uh, हिंदी में भी कहावत है ना, संगत से असर आता है. That's way
right.
it works.
Yes, संगत से गुण आते हैं और संगत से गुण
हाँ,
जाते हैं.
वही.
Wonderful, Mohit. I guess we were able to pass on the message which we wanted to do. And you have anything concluding remarks before I conclude the session?
Just concluding remarks is one line I would like to give that your goal should be not to achieve the goal, but the growth should be your goal. and that's
Wonderful.
uh,
That's a
it
very
my
wonderful line, that your
yes,
goal should not, your growth should not be to achieve a goal, but your goal should be to have a growth in life. And that's exactly what the difference between growth and goal, guys. That goal is something which is seasonal, as Vijay has mentioned. You plan something, you achieve something, and that's it, done. But growth stay with your lifelong. A goal can bring a plateau in life where you get stuck once you achieve that growth goal. But if you have a growth as your goal, you will enjoy the journey lifelong. At the end, goal is your destination, guys, but the growth is the journey. And trust me, the journey has to be beautiful. So make sure you are growing in the decided area of life. You're having a like minded association for that, and keep growing. And if you need anything for that, PIM is there for you. We are there for you. Do comment us. If you have any feedback, comment on this link, and share your feedback with us. And with that, we conclude our this week's session. We'll see you next week once again. Thank you so much, Mohit, for your time. And everyone, take care. Good night.
thank you